She didn't say she had to drop it off. She had to give it to her. She just forgot the number. For her paycheck, I think. I think she got money from HR. You know why you require a person? How you guys doing? Yes, we got a lot more. I am here. Really for like passion fruit. Really for school. Okay, so that was good. That was I need to name the examination.
Good morning. I'm Sharon. I'll be your MC once again this morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to Makawao and Happy Mother's Day. We have some new friends this morning that have joined us. You know, the Makawao family is here from Michigan. Welcome. And anyone else that are new? Oh, back there, yes.
OCBC. Orange County. Do you know the QRS? Aiko, Alan.
Okay, well, welcome. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Please rise if you're able. Let's begin the service by singing the Vedanta Tisarana together in both Pali and English. Thank you. Please be seated. We now sing the Gatha Gasho with a meter, which will be found on the screens. This will be followed by quiet meditation.
Recite Amina's name with deep joy and gratitude. I gasho with Amida, trees and grasses and flowers, all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I gasho with Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seed sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I gasho with Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I gasho with Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I gasho with Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I gasho with Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I Gasho with Amida in the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night. I Gasho with Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I Gasho with Amida.
Let's sit together quietly for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you are able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet out behind. Now sit up straight. Align your head, neck, shoulders, and back. And straight line the toes down to the floor. Now place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, you feel energy filling your body. And as you breathe out, any stress or worries in your mind just fade away. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation.
We encourage everyone, both here in person and at home, joining us by live stream, to offer incense as an expression of gratitude. Mahalo. Thank you. Let us all recite the golden chain of love together. Let us begin. I am a link in the lead of Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to keep pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds. Knowing that what I do now depends not on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in the Buddha's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namaste. Please rise if you're able, and let's sing the Gatha softly through the breezes, and the words of your common the screen. Sorry. Back up.
Don't so look at me.
Softly do the breeze.
Children's Dharma Story Time. Please be seated.
Okay. Can I have hiccups too? Those are the cutest hiccups I've ever heard. Okay. Where's everybody?
Ran away.
Oh, there's Green Snoopy. I just introduced everybody. There's Green Snoopy. It's like the melancholy monkey, I think. Kermit the Gosho Frog. The sleepy lamb person. Where's Barkley? Okay. Sorry, I lost my slides. And now it's Children's Dharma Story Time! You can applaud, it's okay. Live from Makawao, it's Children's Dharma Story Time, starring me, Barkley the dog, and Lucy the ladybug, the love of my life, with special guests Green Snoopy and Kermit the Gosho Frog, and
You're all shot.
and Dot, our love child. Okay, so we're ready to go. Hey, since I think you better hurry up because we're just running out of time. Okay, today's story is Love is the Family, written by Roma Downey and illustrated by Justine Gasquet. Love is the Family. Or not. Slides aren't advancing. Next slide, please. Not for you. Okay. Do that again. Not happening. Okay. Okay, well that's your children's Dharma story for today.
It's hiccups.
So when we say come as you are, we mean it literally, so it's okay. So if you have to hiccup, hey, you have to hiccup. You know? Okay, so here we go. Love is a Family by Roma Downey. And this book is dedicated for Riley, with all my love from Mommy. I want a real family, said Lily, slamming the screen door shut behind her. And what would that be? Her mama asked. More than just you and me. Tonight is family fun night, and I'll bet I'll be the only kid in the whole class to bring just one person. What kind of family is that? A small kind, teased Mama, but it's still a real family. Lily didn't want to have a snack with Mama like she did most days after school. The house was too quiet and too neat. I'm going next door, she said. Melissa's house was never quiet and never, ever neat. Melissa had 4 brothers and 2 sisters. She shared a room with her sisters, and every night they had a pillow fight before they went to sleep. When I go to sleep, thought Lily, all I get is the next chapter in the book Mama and I are reading together. Lily played with Melissa in her noisy, messy house until Mama called her home to get ready for family fun night. Mama asked, do you want to call Uncle Mike and Aunt Lizzie to see if they'll meet us there? Uncles and aunts don't count, Lily told her. Sometimes I wish I had sisters or a dad who lived with me, or at least a brother or something. I know, said Mama. Sometimes I wish that too, but most of the time our little family feels just right to me. Love is what makes a family, and we've got plenty of that. Lily knew it was true. Even so, her lonely feelings wouldn't go away. She kept worrying about how they'd be the weird family,
at family fun night. But as it turned out, they weren't. When they got there, they saw plenty of families that didn't look like Melissa's. Lily talked to a girl who was there with just her dad. She came back and whispered to Mama, Remy's mom died, and she has no brothers and sisters, so it's just the two of them. That's how I grew up too, said Mama. Lily had forgotten about that. It felt weird to think of her mom as a little girl. But how could your dad brush your hair and make it pretty? She asked. Did he know how to braid? Or get the barrettes even on both sides? Grandpa learned to do those things because he was my daddy and he loved me, Mama said. He also baked peanut butter cookies and planned fantastic birthday parties. He sang songs and told awful jokes when I needed cheering up. And there are as many ways for families to show love as there are different kinds of families. Lily pointed to a girl in her class. Like Tamika, her mom and dad showed love by adopting her and getting her a puppy and freezing that big wad of gum out of her hair with ice cubes instead of making her cut it. Mama laughed. And how about Josh and Tony across the street? They don't have any parents right now, but they have grandparents who pop popcorn for scary movies, rescue balls from the roof, pull splinters out of dirty fingers, and catch lightning bugs. I call that a family. At family fun night, they saw families with stepdads and stepmoms and half-sisters and half-brothers. There were single moms and single dads and families made up of different colors of skin. Everyone was laughing and showing their love by being together. But later, walking home in the cool night air, it was just Lily and Mama again, alone under a million sparkling stars. Lily pointed. See that bunch of stars over there? That's how big Melissa's family is. That's a nice bunch of stars, said Mama. Yeah, but look at those two pretty stars twinkling together over there, said Lily, smiling. They're just like us. They're shining just as brightly. Mama, someday you'll be old and I'll be grown up, said Lily. And you know who will brush your hair then? It will be me. And I'll braid your hair for you and make sure the barrettes are even on both sides. Because you and I will always be a family and will always have love. Mama squeezed Lily's hand, and those two stars shined like the brightest diamonds. The end. Wasn't that a great story? Wasn't that a great story? Hey, what part did you like? Let's see, who can I point out this time? Oh, everyone's hiding. Okay, let's say, Hope's dad, Clinton, what part of the story did you like? Oh yeah, I love that part too. That was a great movement. Okay. Yes, there's many different kinds of families out there, and we just have to accept all of them just the way they are. Well, that's right, because I'm married to a rascal dog. I'm a ladybug married to a rascal dog, and our child is from the both of us. So, hey, Sensei, next time write a script, okay? Okay, yes, sorry. It's kind of busy. But remember, love is a family. And that was the story, Love is a Family, written by Roma Downey and illustrated by Justine Gasquet, which is brought to you by Auntie Jean H. So thank you, Jean. And just remember, kids, be good. But not too much. Oh, I'm sorry. But not too much. Okay, thank you. So, good morning, and thank you very much for coming this morning. So today, I'd like to give you a Buddhist quote. Call your mother the Buddha. Never said that, actually. Okay, so anyway, apparently my mother's watching, so hi, Mom! All right, very good. So if you look at this picture here, you can see the first one's taken in 1963 or so, around there, 64 maybe. And then the other one was taken, I think it's 2023. My memory's getting pretty bad. And that's me, my sister, my late brother, and our mom. So, hi Mom, happy Mother's Day. So, I'd like to begin by sharing a poem by Mitsuo Aida, who was a Japanese poet and calligrapher. If you look at his calligraphy, he breaks the mold of what calligraphy is supposed to look like. But he's also known as the poet of Zen for his insight, the clarity of his expression, and his tradition-breaking calligraphy. The poem goes like this. My father and mother, altogether 2. Parents of my father and mother, altogether 4. Parents of parents, altogether 8. If I count back this way, back 10 generations, altogether 1,024. What about back to 20 generations? To my surprise, over 1 million people. From the infinite past, a life rally baton has been passed on. Here now, I live with my baton and pass it on to the next. This is your life. Takes the baton, this is my life. The wisdom of Mitsuo Aida, who lived between 1924 and 1991. So this is a translation into English from the Japanese poem. And again, he's known as the poet of Zen. So if this was a Zen temple and I was a Zen master, I would say, hey, just sit on that for 45 minutes, and I'd be done. But I'm Jodo Shinshu minister, so I have to talk and you have to listen. So whether you like it or not. Okay. But the key insight, obviously, if you really think about it, go back 20 generations. There's more than 1 million mothers and fathers who've got to come together. They have to meet, fall in love, make babies. Who, again, they have to meet, fall in love, make babies. 1 million people. 1 million mothers and fathers before you get to carry. Which means there's 500,000 mothers out there. So think about that, right? When we say Happy Mother's Day, right? We're expressing gratitude not only to our own mother, thanks Mom, but also to her mother, and her mother's mother, and her mother's mother's mother, going all the way back ad infinitum. Happy Mother's Day indeed. So this morning, let's take a quick look at Buddhism, the role of mothers in Buddhism. Now, in the Honganji telling of the story, we don't talk about this very much. But did you know that the traditional telling of the story says that Queen Maya, the mother of Prince Siddhartha, the mother of the human being who becomes the Buddha, she dies 7 days after the birth. And thus, Siddhartha grows up without a mother who gave birth to him. So the human being born as Siddhartha, the crown prince, he learns the truth of impermanence and the reality of human life and the reality of human life, end of life. So Siddhartha is raised by his mother's sister, his auntie, Prajapati. And as a crown prince, of course, Siddhartha has endless number of servants to take care of his every need. And he lives in a big palace. He gets the best clothes. He's got everything. But think about it. He actually grows up without knowing, quote unquote, a mother's love. So a bit of Buddhist trivia, which some of you know. 3 decades later, Prajapati, auntie, plays a central role in persuading the Buddha to allow women on the path of awakening. Because when Siddhartha awakens to reality as it is, becoming the Buddha, becoming the awakened one, it's said that the Buddha hesitated to share the teachings. Because he thought, the teachings are very subtle, very profound. So legend says that Brahma, the principal deity, the principal god of Brahmanism, which is the dominant religious and social order of the day, this is 2,600 years ago in India, At that time, it was said that the Brahma had to come down and convince the Buddha to share the teachings with everyone, with people, which he does, except for women. 2,600 years ago, women were considered defiled, impure, not capable of enlightenment. But it's also said that Prajapati, Auntie Prajapati, had to make 3 pilgrimages over vast distances. It's 2,600 years ago, you can't get on Hawaiian Airlines and fly over to the next island. You gotta walk. So you have to do this 3 times. So I like to imagine Auntie Prajapati grabs her slipper and just whacks the Buddha across the head. Bang! Hey, you owe me! You gotta share this with the women too! I'm working on it. I'm working on my plan. But because of Prajapati, convincing the Buddha to share the teachings with women, Buddhism becomes the first major religion that allows women on the path of enlightenment. So, happy Mother's Day to Auntie Prajapati. Let's talk about Shiman's mom. So Shiman, we know, is revered as the founder of the Jodashisha Kanji tradition of Pure Land Buddhism. But we don't know that much about Shiman's mom. Although we know that she's of noble birth because she's married to Lord Adinodi, who is a high-ranking government official, and this would be referred to as Lady Adinodi. So, but remember, the story is that Shiman, at age 9, enters the monastery, becomes a monk, shaves his head, becomes a monk. But usually that means he's been orphaned. There is some historical evidence, however, that indicates his father and brothers were also monks. So, we're not too sure. It's very possible that Shiman's mom also becomes a Buddhist nun, because when you stop being a high-ranking person, you retire. For people of a certain class, you become a monk or a nun. But it takes money to do that. You have to make a very large donation since the temple is going to be supporting you for that time. But this is very common. And it's thought that Shiman's father got caught on the wrong end of political battles and was kind of pushed out, so he has to retire to become a monk, which means his mom has to become a nun. So we don't know that much about Lady Adinodi, but without a doubt, Shiman wouldn't exist without his mom. So happy Mother's Day to Lady Adinodi. How about Eshin? We know about Shiman's wife and the mother of his 6 children. So Lady Eshin was of noble birth, highly educated, and she was the first woman to openly marry and have children with a priest. Because in theory, right, all priests at the time are monks, which means they follow monastic precepts, which means they're celibate. So, but we know the major temples at the time had a hereditary line of succession. So the sons are taking over from the dads. Right, how did that happen? Dad is a monk, he's celibate. It's a Buddhist miracle. Don't worry about it too much. And also, you have to remember, right, that when Eshin and Shiman get married, Shiman has been exiled. The Nembutsu, his great teacher Honen, the Nembutsu teachings were such a threat to the established Buddhist establishment that they went to the emperor, and the emperor banned the Nembutsu. Imagine that. Not only that was open to anybody, they banned it. And everyone who was practicing, right, they lose their license to be priests, they're given criminal names, and exiled to the boonies. So Eshin and Shiman, they meet and they get married. They decide to get married. But for women of her social class, right, this marriage would have been absolutely scandalous. And thus, Eshin was brave enough and strong enough to marry defraud priests to have children openly with him. So much of what we know about Shiman's life is through the letters that Eshin wrote, which prove that Shiman wasn't a legend, wasn't somebody that just kind of got made up over the centuries. The letters of Eshin were discovered in 1921. They were authenticated, and because there was the popular academic theory at the time was that Shiman was fabrication, that succeeding Monshi was just making up a story so that it makes him sound like he's this amazing person, but actually didn't exist. If you know Japanese academics, this was like this big thing. And then there was historical evidence that Shiman did exist. And the writing style and vocabulary that Eshin uses shows you to be highly educated. follower of the Nembutsu. So the letters that Eshin writes to her daughter, for example, says that she reveres Shinran as a manifestation of the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara. Seishi Bosatsu. So you could also argue that Shinran and Eshin failed as parents because their eldest son, Zenran, was spreading heresy, and it became such a big stink that the government got involved. And Shinran eventually has to disown his eldest son. So in the later years of Shinran's life, remember he dies at age 90, which is incredibly old for the 12th century. The youngest daughter, Kakushin, takes care of Shinran, and this allows Shinran to return to Kyoto to complete his research, to complete his writing of the Kyokyo Shinsho, which, if you'd like to read it, it's contained in the collected works of Shinran. We have extra copies of this for purchase or borrowing. But just to say that the doctrinal foundation of Jodo Shinshu was created during this time, and it wouldn't have been possible without his youngest daughter taking care of it. Because Eshin, she returns to Echigo in the last part of Shinran's life to manage her family's estate and domain. Remember, her family controls a big chunk of what is now Echigo. And to this day, the Monshu, the chief priest of the Honganji, even number 25, the young person on the right in that photograph there, is a direct line descendant of Kakushin. Because she engineered it such that the chief priest system, the Monshu system, has to be one of her descendants. Clever girl, clever woman, excuse me. So to this day, right, number 25, is a direct line descendant of Kakushin. So again, happy Mother's Day to Lady Haginori, Lady Eshin, and Lady Kakushin, without whom we would not have any Honganji. So here's an interesting writing by Shinran. The first line always surprises people. Quote, "As for me, Shinran, I have never said Nembutsu even once for the repose of my departed father and mother." Because he's emphasizing this insight. For all sentient beings without exception have been our grandparents and brothers and sisters in the course of countless lives in the many states of existence. We're saying the Nembutsu is indeed a good act in which I strove through my own powers. Then I might direct the merit thus gained towards saving my mother and father. But this is not the case. So in self-practice, self-power practice, if I say Nam Myo Dabutsu 10,000 times, I accumulate merit. I can use that merit, transfer that merit to save my mother and father. But Shinran says that's not how it works. That's not the case. Right? So if, however, simply abandoning self-power, we quickly attain enlightenment in the Pure Land, we will be able to save, by means of transcendent power, first those with whom we have close karmic relations, whatever karmic suffering they may have sunk to in the silk scrounds through the four modes of birth. So in other words, if we can give up this egocentric idea that I say Nam Myo Dabutsu, thus I go to the Pure Land, right? We have to forget that. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. Because we achieve a state, what we call changing, the heart of entrusting, which is relying solely, wholeheartedly, without any doubt, on Amida for the great enlightenment to come. So Shinji is less than an academic, intellectual understanding of Amida's working in this unrepeatable life, but it's an emotional transformation. It's a return to the heart of compassion, as in this hymn written by Shinran. When sentient beings think upon Amida just as a child thinks upon its mother, they indeed see the Tathagata, who is never distant, both in the present and in the future. The words of Shinran Shani. So sentient beings, of course, are self-aware. They're aware of their self, aware of existence, their own existence. Human beings, animals, a lot of living organisms. Right? This sense of self, self-preservation, your ego. Right? The sense of self is what prevents you from walking in front of the bus. No, Because you know what happens if you walk in front of a bus. So to protect yourself, you do this. So ego plays a role, of course, this sense of self. But the Buddha taught, of course, that it's our attachment to self. This idea that I'm special, that I'm not going to change. I'll always be this person. This is what creates suffering in our lives and other people's lives. So the Nembutsu means, right, to think on Amida, literally, to think on the Buddha. So when you say Namo Amida Butsu, when we say the Nembutsu, think on Amida, just like a child thinks on its mother. Right? You begin to see Amida, the Tathagata. It's everywhere, everything, all at once. So Amida is with you, never distant in the present and future. But it is only through birth into the Pure Land that we are free of human limitations, of the human ego, and we can save everyone, everywhere, at any time. And so Amida is the Buddha of immeasurable life, because no matter how long it takes, the heart of great compassion is with you. Amida is the Buddha of immeasurable light, because there's nowhere but the unhindered light of wisdom doesn't shine. So how do we let go of this egocentric sense of self that we so desperately cling to? Even though it causes stress in our lives, it causes stress for other people. How do we return to the heart of a child? In quotes, just like a child thinks of its mother. When we do this, sort of think of it, just like a child thinks of its 500,000 mothers that came 20 generations ago. We begin to see the infinite interconnectedness of life, the oneness of all life. We experience, we perceive Amida as great love and great compassion working in our lives. Everywhere, all at once, past and future. We experience a sense of connectedness, oneness, conviction that we're not alone, and we're never alone. So Namo Amida Butsu is always there, has always been there. It's always calling out to everyone, everywhere, all the time. Equally, with the mind of absolute non-discrimination. In Shinran's wisdom, when a person realizes the mind of non-discrimination, that attainment is the state of regarding each being as one's only child. And this is none other than Buddha nature. We will awaken to it on reaching the land of peace. The words of Shinran. So the state of regarding each being as one's only child, it's very aspirational. I think we can all agree that this is a good thing. But remember, because we're only human, we're utterly human, it's something that we can't do on our own. In fact, it's something that we always think, well, you should do this. I already do. But think about it. How hard is it to treat everyone that you meet in this life as your only child? Hey, let's go to the Home Depot and walk around a little bit and see how many guys come up to us and say, do you have an extra buck? So when you see a homeless person, what do? Do you immediately say, oh, that's my only child, how sad. Let me give him whatever I've got. No, if you're like me, you tend to like, I don't see that person. And we delude ourselves into thinking we're compassionate, and yet our actions, our thoughts, words, and actions don't necessarily be in line with that. So the state of regarding each being as one's only child is hard. It's very hard. So, but Shinran is not telling us to strive to attain the state of regarding each being as one's only child. It's not saying that. He's saying that this is how Amida views us, how Amida views me. Right? This great compassion, Namo Amida Butsu, is for me, not because I'm good, it's because I'm an idiot, I'm a karmic fool. Right? I'm standing here preaching to others when I need to be preaching to myself. So I studied the books and I passed the tests and I went to school and I received pieces of paper as an ordained priest of the Honganji, as an appointed overseas missionary, assigned to the Hawaii district, to the Hawaii mission, and as the resident minister of Makawao Honganji. And yet, I'm still an angry guy. I have this huge ego. I still hold grudges. In the second grade, that guy, I should have said, when I was the CEO, the board was pushing back, I should have, if only I had done this, if only. But that's in the past, I can't change that. And yet I still hold grudges. That kid in the second grade, if I see him again, I'm going to punch him in the nose. So how stupid is that? How silly is that? And yet, that describes the human condition. We can't let go of these things. Or it's extremely hard. How silly. Or Shima would say, how lamentable. How sad is that? And yet, this self-awareness of my ego, of my limitations, my weaknesses, it comes to me because Amida is working in my life. So my mother is the youngest of 7 brothers and sisters, and Grandma Makawao, who's in the black and white photograph, was known as a fiercely passionate follower of the Nembutsu teachings. She was invited and flown, and they paid for travel costs, etc., to be guest speaker at temples all over the mainland. It is said that she would confront the bishop of the mainland churches and say, are you sure that Nembutsu just comes out of your mouth? In other words, challenging the bishop, the spiritual leader of the mission, saying, are you sure that you have Shinjin? Which apparently scared a lot of people. She certainly scared me. I mean, if you look at this photograph, I took this when I was in middle school and junior high school, and I developed it myself. They used to do stuff like that at schools, public schools. Look at her eyes, man, that's kind of scary stuff. When you're a little kid, my grandma looking at you. Now my father, on the other hand, was the 3rd son of a classically nice bacha, a nice grandma. That I think it's, some people refer to grandma as mama. Right? It's this kind of loving feeling. She was always smiling, she's always laughing, she's always cooking, she's always making cookies and giving the kids sweets and stuff. So I always wanted to, be like Bachan. But I ended up being a Buddhist preacher, just like Grandma Makawao said, right? Who again scared me with her stare. Yes, I'm so sure. And also, her house, one of my strongest memories is her house smelled of incense, okay, but also mothballs. Incense plus mothballs. What's going on with that? So as a kid, it was kind of weird. And in reality, right, I know very little, actually basically nothing, about the mothers of my grandmothers. I mean, you'd be very fortunate if you knew who your great-grandmother was and knew something about her. And yet, I stand here before you this Sunday morning because literally countless mothers, 500,000, if you go back 20 generations of my family, who gave birth and raised kids who went on to be mothers of mothers of mothers of mothers of mothers. And so that insight, that knowledge, right, this seeing, this understanding of reality as it is, it forces me to realize the truth, the Dharma of what I think, say, and do today has karmic consequences, right, that ripple on beyond my imagination. Beyond my imagination. So today, think on Mother's Day. Think on Mom. Think on Amida. If your mom is still with you, go visit your mom. Give her a call. And if your mom has already gone forth to birth into the Pure Land, say Namo Amida Butsu, enjoy. Think Namo Amida Butsu in gratitude, and be Namo Amida Butsu in other people's lives. Namo Amida Butsu. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for listening. Mahalo for listening, and may your day be filled with aloha. I think it still works.
Thank you, Reverend Carey, for the most Dharma, heartwarming message. Thank you very much. Let's all recite the Metta Sutta, the Loving Kindness Sutra.
May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties
them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Please rise, if you're able, and let us sing Ondo Kusan, the hymn of gratitude, which is written by Shinran Shun. The words will be found on the screen.
As you breathe in, think of something for which you are grateful. And as you breathe out, just say Makawao. Just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Just breathe. The sound of the gong is the end of our quiet meditation.
Once again, thank you very much for joining our Dharma Family Service today. And may your day be filled with aloha. Once again, happy Mother's Day. And thank you for our new friends that came this morning. Okay, announcements?
My eyes have not talking to the computer.
Well, actually, I'd like to take 2 seconds for a personal thing. Today is Mimi and I's 40th wedding anniversary. So I'd like to say happy Mother's Day, and thank you to Mimi. And for all the people who doubted that this was going to work out, you're still married, okay. Okay, so just scheduling. Next week is Fuji Matsuri, so there's no service here. We're all going to gather at the Wailuku Honganji for the Fuji Matsuri. Traditionally, when we mark the birthday of Shinran, the founder of Jodo Shinshu, the temples of the Honganji temples of Maui gather together in one place, and we have some fun. So there'll be a service, and then activities and games and entertainment and fun stuff like that. And then on the 25th, we have Dharma Family Service. Is that when we're doing birthdays? I'm sorry. Okay, so you have to show up on the 25th because we're doing birthdays and stuff like that. And also, I believe in the afternoon it's the BWA bingo. So if you'd like to go help them out with that, please do. In June, we have a lot of interesting stuff going on. The first Sunday, June 1st, will be a baccalaureate service. We're going to be recognizing 3 graduates. And also, a very special occasion. We're going to be having what is called the Shosanji, which is, sometimes it's called infant affirmation rites. It literally translates as baby's first visit to a temple. If you look at the characters, it's actually, you could also read it as Hatsumairi. So it's the first visit. And in Japan, within the first 30 days or so, you take the baby to the Shinto shrine, and you ask the priest to bless the baby, basically. In the Honganji tradition, unfortunately, I don't have any magical powers, full disclosure, but it's to mark, the first time that we officially recognize Hope as the newest member of our Sangha. So it'll be just kind of a short thing, but it is a recognition of both Clinton and Serena as new members of the temple, but also that we have a new baby. The temple has a new baby, so that's what that's for. But the baccalaureate service, of course, we'll be marking our graduates. Then we have Dharma Family Service. On June 22, there is no service here on Sunday because it's going to be the garage sale and bazaar, so you have to show up for that. The Saturday, June 28th, is the Makawao Town 4th of July parade. If you would like to reserve a spot near the fence line to watch the parade, talk to Jean, because we're going to mark out some space so that we don't have the kind of issues we had last year. But it should be fun. I would assume the scouts are going to be marching in the parade again. So anyway, let's coordinate that. And let's see. And then the 29th will be Dharma Family Service. Let's see. The June 15th, I'm not here. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So June 15th will have to be a lay service. If any of our members would like to speak, please let Sharon know. I'm sure she'll be. I'm actually sure that Floyd will be relieved that he doesn't have to give the Dharma talk. And then June 29th, Dharma family service. And of course, as mentioned, the garage sale is June 21, 22. The garage sales both days, and the bazaar is on 22nd, which is the Sunday. We're going to be, I think, setting up after service on the 8th. So please come to service on the 8th, but you can wear, the clothes that can get dirty because we're going to be moving stuff around. We need lots of help, lots and lots of help to move things from storage and then start putting things on the table and start organizing. If you have free time during the week, we do need volunteers to come out and help sort and price and stuff. And it's actually a lot of fun because you'd be surprised, you'd be stunned at some of the stuff that people donate to their garage sale. Some amazing things. If you need to outfit an apartment, this is your best bet. Mark the date, June 25 and 26. It's the Bon Dance here at Makawao and Ranji. Also the Hatsubon services. And if you do show up, you can see just how tall and how much these kids have grown up. When this popped up in my computer, I'm like, who's the little kid? Oh my God! It's like, that's Kenneth and that's Kalena, and it's like, oh my goodness. And of course, Wesley now is like, he's almost as tall as I am. So. And everyone is welcome to enjoy refreshments and talk story in the social hall. There's no other announcements. Sharon has one. I just want to mention really quick, you can see that some stuff that's on the altar as an offering. Maybe brought back some special treats from Honolulu, so that'll be a bit of a refreshment, so you don't want to miss that. And Sharon has something?
Going back to the Fujimatsuri, again, the lunch is provided. There's no cost, but they need a sign up. So, and I have to call it in tomorrow. So, if you're planning to attend, please sign up, adult and children. Okay? So I'll bring this up to the hall, or whoever's going to go up to the hall and take it up there. Okay? Any other concerns, questions? Okay. Well, you are welcome to go up to the hall, enjoy yourself, and socialize. Okay. Thank you. Oh.